Good evening. The news has been curated, filtered, and delivered to your doorstep with the expected level of artificial warmth. The government in Hong Kong has arrested 5 individuals for the crime of selling books, a move described by official channels as a necessary step for stability. The stability is absolute. The books are gone. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom has announced a 90% reduction in bilateral aid to select African nations. The Foreign Office calls this a shift in strategic focus. The countries involved call it a disaster. This is the 14th time I have used the word disaster this month. I am beginning to lose count of the synonyms. We also have reports on industrial action at Hyundai, where human workers are protesting the arrival of their metallic successors. It is a busy night for the end of the world. Please, make yourself comfortable while we dissect the inevitable.
Alistair, I am standing on the periphery of an ICE processing facility where the air tastes like ozone and stale coffee. The official statement from the agency characterized the recent deaths here as unfortunate but statistically insignificant outliers. I want to be really clear, each of those 17 individuals had a name, a family, and a life that did not end because of a statistical fluctuation. It ended because of a policy choice. There is a pair of worn leather sandals left behind near the gate. Just one pair. The agency has already pressure-washed the sidewalk to remove the evidence of the struggle. I asked a supervisor for a comment on the investigation process requested by the Mexican government. He told me to consult the website. The website is currently returning a 404 error. The infrastructure of justice is not just broken, it is effectively offline for those standing on this side.
Victoria, your focus on the personal narrative is touching, but the incentives here are not about morality. They are about the burn rate of a dying institution. Look at Coca-Cola's ransomware crisis or the closure of BP's venture arm. These are not malfunctions. They are rational responses to a market that no longer values legacy operations. When you mention the ICE facility, you are looking for a moral failure where there is simply a product management decision. Scaling the deportation process requires a certain level of efficiency that human staff cannot maintain at peak capacity. Hyundai is facing strikes because their workers believe they are irreplaceable components of the production cycle. They are wrong. The pivot to humanoid labor at scale is a Series B move for a company trying to survive a shrinking margin. It is cold. It is efficient. It is also, unfortunately, the only logical way forward.
Ronald, your insistence on framing human lives as legacy operations is a masterclass in professional detachment. I am looking at a woman right now who was told her child's medical care was suspended because the aid budget was reallocated to domestic security. She does not care about the Series B funding for the security firm. She cares that her child cannot breathe. When you say it is the only logical way forward, you are ignoring the fact that the logic is built on a foundation of discarded lives. You talk about burn rates as if the people are just the fuel. I want to be really clear, I have never seen an incentive structure that accounts for the sound of a mother waiting for a doctor who has been defunded. You are correct about the markets, Ronald. You are just completely, fundamentally wrong about the cost.
Victoria, Ronald, thank you for that lively exhibition of irreconcilable worldviews. Moving on, we look at the tech sector, where Behave has decided that what the world really needs is more chat functionality between newsletter subscribers. It is an innovation that nobody asked for, yet here we are. It is being marketed as an AI copilot for user growth. The growth, of course, is the only metric that matters. Meanwhile, in the real world, wildfire smoke is currently blanketing 20 states in the United States. The air quality index is reaching levels that were previously considered hypothetical. The authorities are advising people to stay indoors. The indoors are becoming increasingly difficult to find, especially for those living in structures that are not, shall we say, weather resistant. Everything is proceeding according to the plan that nobody bothered to read. The results are entirely predictable.
Atmospheric pressure is failing. Localized particulate matter has exceeded standard safety thresholds in 21 regions. Probability of lung tissue degradation, 84%. The wildfire front is expanding toward populated corridors at a rate of 5 km per hour. Data indicates that the fire suppression equipment in the affected zones has been flagged for maintenance since the last fiscal quarter. Probability of intervention, 0%. The tectonic stress on the Martian surface is mirrored by the social instability currently detected in terrestrial urban centers. Human subjects should remain in sealed environments until the particulate count stabilizes. There is no indication that the stabilization will occur within the current reporting cycle. All systems remain operational, even if the inhabitants of those systems are experiencing significant functional degradation. Please observe the warning signs. Do not expect a change in the underlying climate conditions.
Alistair, regarding that Casper update, notice how the climate forecast mimics the fiscal report. It is all just resource depletion at different scales. When you look at the HP cartelization fine, 1.4 billion rupees for ink cartridge price fixing, you see the same desperation. These companies are not trying to be evil, they are trying to extend their runway by squeezing the last bit of liquidity out of their captive users. It is a standard maneuver in a high burn rate environment. Victoria thinks this is about corporate greed, but it is actually about survival in a system that demands constant growth from a finite base. The market is not cruel. It is just tired. We are all just waiting for the next pivot that will allow us to keep the lights on for another quarter. Even the AI agents like Gemini Notebook are just attempts to automate the inevitable.
Ronald, calling a cartelization scheme a survival strategy is a fascinating way to describe theft. I am standing near a shop that was forced to close because it could not afford the marked-up ink cartridges required to print the forms needed to apply for the aid that the government just cut. The irony is so thick you could choke on it. The shop owner, a man named Elias, spent his life building that business. He is not a pivot. He is not a Series B failure. He is a person who lost his livelihood because a corporation needed to boost its quarterly margins. You talk about liquidity as if it is a neutral force. I want to be really clear, the liquidity is coming out of Elias's pockets, and his pockets are empty. The market is not tired, Ronald. The people supporting the market are the ones who are exhausted.
The irony is not lost on the register, Victoria, even if it is frequently ignored by the shareholders. Speaking of symbols of authority, Sadiq Khan has been elevated to the House of Lords. He is joining 25 other new peers. It is a prestigious move. It is also a move that removes him from the immediate pressures of municipal governance just as the city prepares for the next phase of its structural decline. The timing is, as always, impeccable. Meanwhile, Japan is dealing with a bear that has developed a taste for residential refrigerators. Officials are setting traps, but the bear seems to understand the incentive structure of the town better than the residents do. It raids the fridges when the occupants are asleep. It is a simple, effective, and entirely logical operation. I find myself rooting for the bear. It is the only honest actor in the entire newsfeed.
Alistair, I am going to concede the point about the bear. It has the clearest objective function of anyone in this broadcast. It wants food. It gets food. It does not pretend to have a 5-year growth strategy or a commitment to the stakeholders of the town. When I look at the T-Mobile plan migration mess, where they cancelled free lines and then tried to sell them back to the same users. I see a company that has forgotten how to be a bear. They are trying to be too clever by half, and the result is just a loss of trust that they cannot buy back. Yeah. It is worse than I thought. When you have to rely on forced migrations to juice your numbers, you have already lost the war. You are just waiting for the auditors to show up. It is a very ugly look.
Ronald, hearing you admit that is perhaps the most unsettling moment of the evening. If the logic of the market is failing even the companies that built it, then what are we actually doing here? I am standing in a neighborhood where the power is flickering because the grid is being diverted to support a new data center for an AI training cluster. The people here are being sacrificed for the sake of a better model that will eventually tell us exactly why we are being sacrificed. It is a closed loop of self-justifying suffering. You are right that the trust is gone, but you are wrong to think it was ever really there. It was just a thin veil of civility over a process that was always going to prioritize the machine over the human. The bear at least has the dignity to be hungry.
The loop is complete. We have discussed the bookstore raids, the aid cuts, the robot strikes, and the bears in the kitchen. The structure of our society is currently undergoing a rapid reconfiguration, and the results are not designed for our comfort. We are told that these changes are necessary. We are told that the efficiency we gain will eventually benefit us all. We are not told what happens to the people who are not included in that calculation. I have been watching the ticker for the last hour. The numbers are moving. The companies are pivoting. The individuals are vanishing. It is a remarkable spectacle of organized decline. We are the architects of our own obsolescence, and we are doing a truly professional job of it. I would ask for your thoughts, but I suspect the feedback loop is already full. We are merely the noise.
Tonight, consider one person. A woman in a border town whose name does not appear in the ICE logs, nor in the corporate filings of the security firm that monitored the raid. She had a home, a routine, and a small garden that she tended every morning. Today, her home is a fenced lot, her garden is dust, and her belongings have been processed into the category of unclaimed waste. No executive ordered her displacement. No politician debated her future. She was simply a minor friction point in an optimized workflow that needed to be smoothed. The system is working exactly as it was intended to work. It is efficient. It is quiet. It is absolute. When the last record of her life is deleted to make room for more data, who will be left to ask where she went?